Innovation Unplugged from the Alabama Community College System's Innovation Center takes you inside Alabama's workforce development. Join us for enlightening conversations with community leaders and industry experts showcasing experiences, addressing key issues, and celebrating successes in the workforce initiatives across the state.
All right, welcome back to Innovation Unplugged, a production of the ACCS Innovation Center. I'm Houston Blackwood, Workforce Director for this group. Today we've got two great guests, or one guest and one longtime friend here. Julie Frizzell, our Executive Director, Chief of Operations, we'll call her Chief. And then Chad Sutton, Workforce Director at LBW College in Andalusia, Alabama.
Yeah. Welcome, Chad.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Yeah, so this is your second run.
This is.
Yeah.
Yep, I think the first time was last fall?
Yeah, fall of 23.
Yeah.
Maybe. Is it when we started?
I think it was before that.
Maybe that's when it came out. I think.
I think we recorded maybe the summer.
Yeah. I think so.
Anyway, well, we're glad. And what's cool is that you have so many stories to tell and so much going on in your service region and beyond. Like watching you on LinkedIn, man, the stuff you're involved with is nuts. So we're excited to have you back on. We were talking off air about a lot of different things. So y'all had some pretty good conversation about the inmates and incarcerated individuals.
Sure.
Doing some training there, and then a whole bunch of Habitat for Humanity. I saw that too. So where are we starting?
Wherever you want to start. It doesn't matter to me. We could talk a little bit about the inmate training if you want, and how we're going to expand on that, and wherever you want to go with it, I'm good.
Well, and first of all,
go there.
Yeah,
go there.
Y'all know who Chad is. Go back into our library of episodes and find Chad's first episode, because Chad tells us a little bit about how he ended up at LBW in workforce development and his story and his experiences that led up to where he is today and the opportunity that he has to serve the community in South Alabama. So if you haven't heard all of his story, go find that episode. Episode number ? But no, it would be great to follow up on that so that everybody can get to know you better if this is the first time that they've met Chad on our podcast. But yeah, no, I mean, what's been happening? I mean, y'all are doing great things across LBW's campuses and with your local high schools and with local organizations. And what's been happening since last time we saw you?
Well, it's been going great. The opportunities to train have just been increasing. I think it's because of our intentional work. Like I said, I think I've told you guys before, we're really intentional about what we do, and we don't ever just put an ad out there on social media and hope people show up. Like, we go get them. That's really about the only way to do it, I think, and be successful.
So how do you do that? Do y'all set strategy meetings with your business community? Do you sit with President Kelly and say, okay, what is kind of our goals for the next quarter or for the term? How do y'all plan that out?
Well, typically it's our workforce crew that we have. Jeannie does a great job, and we talk about different opportunities out there. We do meet with, the different chambers and try and talk to them about opportunities. Of course, all the school systems we're involved with, and they help get the word out. That's still the hardest thing to do in this business, is to get the word out. Like, you literally could meet somebody that lives across the street from the college, and they'll be like, I didn't know you did that.
Oh, yeah.
It's hard to get the word out, and that's something Dr. Kelly and I talk about a lot. What is the best avenue to get that information out there? I'm dying for a TV commercial, so I don't know.
Oh, I could see it.
I think.
Yeah.
What thought about that, man? I thought you had one.
No, it's just
That was his billboard.
Oh, you did have that billboard, 80-foot billboard.
Yeah.
I did a little
It was
30-second thing in Montgomery on WSFA once.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was about it.
So, but if you're gonna do a commercial, like, there's this jewelry store where I live, and I think they film it with their Kodak phone. It's ridiculous. But the guy's so country. And he's like, come down here to my jewelers, and I'm like, oh gosh, that's why I don't listen to public radio. But just tell me, if you're going to do a commercial, it's going to be super smooth.
Yeah. Yeah. We've even got some idea. I got some great ideas. So
pitch it.
Waiting for that. Pitch it? Well, I'd give my idea away, wouldn't it?
No,
Somebody steal it?
give us your catch line. Like you're
I don't know so much about a catch line. A couple of us have envisioned what the commercial looks like,
Mhm.
with all the different trainings that are available and kind of cutting from one to the other, that kind of thing. But
Nice.
just to let the community know what's out there. But we'll get there someday. We just want to try and serve as many people as we can. And I think, this last fiscal year I looked at the numbers, and, we issued 1,450 certificates.
Wow.
To
Congratulations. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, and it's a pretty small area. I mean, the biggest city in our service area has 10,000 people in it.
mm-hmm.
And that's 4 counties.
What
So
a difference
so
that
you've-
can make.
in some way you've given certificates to 10% of the population.
possibly, yeah,
Ish.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I still think that's that's just a scratch. Yeah, we still got a lot more we can do.
What's that breakdown? Is that like high school students, open enrollment, incumbent workers,
Yes,
all
Of
that?
the
it
above.
goes high school students. It goes, the CDL program. It goes the corporate leadership. It goes, just on and on.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty neat. I think we're excited about that. And this quarter, this first quarter is, nearing its end, and we've exceeded last year's first quarter results. So
Sure.
Wow.
we're hoping that
What's the difference?
What's
like-
your year-over-year increase
the
there?
diversity of training.
No. Like, what's the number?
Oh, I didn't look at that before I came. I can do that though and get back with you.
Okay.
But it's trying to remember 1,400. It seems like we were going to hit the 500-600 mark this quarter,
Mhm.
something like that. So last time I looked at
It's
it,
almost doubled what you've done in 2 years in one quarter. Close.
yeah. In the first year I did this, I think we issued 300 certificates. So
What a great trajectory.
it's changed.
that y'all
And I
have.
think about, we talk to the people at the county and the different chambers, and there's 200 more people on the road with the CDL license because of these programs.
Mm-hmm.
And
In your service region.
yeah, just in our service region. And
So
that's
what does
pretty.
that mean for your grocers and your infrastructure there in the community?
And we're all incumbent
Yeah.
workers. This isn't people off the street. These are businesses that are strengthening their business by doing this. It's kind of, that other arm of economic development that people don't really talk about. The existing businesses, how do we strengthen them, and how do we act as a resource for them? And our school corporations, their business as well. So, that's where the large majority of all of our training comes from.
We met a couple weeks ago with a huge paving company road construction company out of the north, and they were asking about CDL and heavy equipment, and they said most of our projects don't happen on time. If they don't happen on time, most of it is because we can't move equipment there.
Sure.
And it just delays the effect. And so, we told them, like, well, you can get this at these 2 colleges for free, and they're like, mm-mm. They said a bad word. That's not real. I was like, it's
They
bad.
could believe it.
Yep. And I was like, and these were like salt of the earth, dude. They're like, no, that's not possible. I'm like, well, it is. And so then I connected them and showed them all the numbers of people we served and around the state, and they were like, okay, cool. And so they're on their way. And it's all folks who have been running machines, or they're good laborers, and they just needed one more thing, and now they're great employees, but now they're upskilled with the CDL and eventually HEO, so they can move it and get it off the trailer, and have it ready for the master operator. So that kind of investment, we don't think about it. Like, we just train people for a CDL, but then what that really does for the company,
Right.
and their bottom line.
I agree.
What's been that response that you've heard from those companies that you've been serving?
They just keep coming back. That's
Returning customers?
somebody asked me that question. I can't remember who asked that question. How do we know if the public is receptive to the training? But once they train with us, they just keep coming back.
Yeah.
And that's the proof right there. Return customers are, that's what makes it happen. Getting somebody to take that step and try and think outside the box and do something a little differently is sometimes not the easiest thing to do. But once they do, they realize, why haven't I been doing it this way?
Yeah. Yeah, we had a good conversation yesterday with the Central Workforce Gathering about CDL. and hours and all that stuff. And
It's always a fun conversation.
I said, listen, what I'm about to tell you is not real popular. And, the historical programs don't like this statement, but here's how it goes. And, people, they were nodding their heads because they know it's true, but they won't talk about it.
Right.
And how quickly it can be done.
Right.
Safely, but also very, very efficiently for my people. What about this inmate?
Yeah, I want you to
let's
talk about that some more, because we've talked about how we are really trying to support those that are incarcerated or those that are serving time in a local or a county facility. We have Ingram State Technical College that does tremendous amount of training and education for those facilities that they serve. But also, all of our colleges across the state can serve their local inmates as well. And I've seen and heard great things that you all are doing down at LBW, and I see that you've posted some of that and have been sharing that with others, because we want to help all of our colleges understand that they don't have to wait for Ingram, but Ingram's there to help serve if they need them.
Sure.
But tell about how you've been able to be successful in supporting those local inmates, and what that means to your community.
Yeah. So Covington County Jail was the first group that came to us and asked some questions. Actually, we have a relationship with the sheriff, so we know the sheriff, and his daughter is one of the career coaches for Covington County Schools. So her and Jeannie Sanders, our workforce coordinator, have a good relationship, and that's kind of how that got set off. But we're always talking about being intentional and going to different groups to offer these trainings that are available. And so we started the conversation with the sheriff, and he's like, I want to learn more. And so we told him how it works, and we had to kind of think outside the box because they can't have devices in the building.
Right.
So we had to do the theory a little different, but it worked really well. But after the first training we did with them, he's like, this has been amazing. Like the attitude and kind of the excitement of the trustees is what they want you to call them, because they are at that level. They're a trustee. So
explain what that means if somebody doesn't know.
I think
Yeah.
it means they've reached a certain level of trust, in their time while they're there. I don't know if there's something behind that. I don't know if there's actually things they have to accomplish, but
it's a nonviolent offense, and then also that the time that they've served leads them to being able to have the trustee experience to go out or serve and do jobs that others may not have an opportunity to do.
Yeah, because they go to the Kiwanis and
Don't
set up
quote me on all that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't quote me on all that. But
Yeah. So it's been really great. And the first class was a group of men. They really enjoyed it. And so we quickly signed up several other classes, and we finally were able to do a women's class. And we actually have done 2 or 3 women's classes. And it sounds like they weren't able to be at that trustee level for whatever reason. They weren't going and doing jobs. Like, this is the first time they got to go out and do something like that.
Okay.
Oh,
And so the excitement was through the roof. Jeannie made several comments about how excited the women were, and the instructors even commented how well they did and how attentive they were and how serious they took it. And, we're hoping that, this, it created some hope. It created, for that second chance out there. And when you can provide that to somebody, think about, that's pretty impactful. You want to talk about serving a community and a certain population, you're helping to create hope. And one of the things we talk about in our office a lot is our mission statement, how, we're going to deliver opportunities that are based on skill development. Like skill development, if you ever heard me speak at events or different places, I say those 2 words an awful lot. Like, I think it's super important because that's something that nobody's ever going to take away from you for the rest of your life. So if we can help create that, that's going to create a responsible and productive person that is looking to be economically free. And if that's not our goal in our communities, I'm not sure what is. That has to be our goal. So when we talk about programs, are we going to do it or are we not? We look at that mission statement and decide if that fits.
what a great concept. Like always aligning back to your ultimate goal.
Yeah, because if you're not, you're just throwing darts and you're just trying whatever. And,
That's what we did back in K-12, because we were at Title I school. We had all that federal funding, and you had to have your plan. I forget what it was called, CIP. But everything we did had to have like that that goal,
Right.
action item number tied to the requisition. You know, that's why we did it there. The bookkeeper, that she had that set up, but it kept us on track, so we didn't spend money on like ice cream. You can't spend federal dollars on ice cream, just for the record.
Or any food.
Not without much paperwork.
But what was the response after the training? So
Mm-hmm.
getting them there at the training, it was just like an ultimate experience of like they've never gotten this opportunity while they've been
Correct.
there.
I guess, the biggest conversation now is they keep asking what's next. What else can we do? And so we have plans of doing the electrical help. We have plans of doing the carpentry. We have plans of, I know plumbing's coming out eventually. Those are things, fiber optic, we're just going to keep adding to it. And now we're working with Crenshaw County, and they're super excited as well. We've had a lot of success with them. Kind of the highway department is right next to them, so they've kind of partnered with the jail, and everybody's working together.
What great partnerships that shows right there. Yeah.
It's awesome. It really is. And that's good work, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I had a mentor of mine, amazing, awesome Christian man, but he was like a philanthropic guy that I worked with, and he mentored me a lot, bringing me up in this business. And he says, when you need to step back and look at your work, is it good?
Mm-hmm.
If your work is good, that says something.
Define good, though. Is good giving those people just those second chances, or
I think giving them second chances, giving people the opportunity to develop skill that can change their life. Because that's really what it boils down to. That's why we're here. I think we have to answer that question someday.
I think we all can. We deal with the colleges on a daily basis. We talk to somebody from a college every day. And the questions they ask now, it's not how can I run skills for success, is how can I adapt it for this group? That's the question I get almost every day.
Mm-hmm.
How can I adapt to do this thing to be more applicable in that service region? And that's really cool. Mm-hmm. To that point, how did you get past the online theory? How did you navigate the online theory with these?
Because they couldn't have those devices.
How'd you do that?
Jeannie worked with, I can't remember who it was at your office. Might have been Darlisa or Destiny or somebody, but she worked with them. They printed them off and they went and did them by hand.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I mean,
where there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah. And it took a lot of extra work on her part, but if you get to know Jeannie, that's kind of what she's about. Like,
found a solution.
Yeah. She's going to find a solution, and she's going to make it happen.
Because those courses, what we're talking about is the theory portion is online. So they have to have access to our Canvas LMS system to get through that theory. But when they're in a facility like that, they cannot have access to the internet to access that course online. So
Right.
You all found a solution to get them the content and the training material so that they could still go through those skills.
Correct.
And content and curriculum to be ready for their lab days.
I would say out of everybody that signs up for Skills for Success trainings or any of our trainings, it doesn't matter, which one it is, but that's a group that's 100% registration to training.
So when we do the lab plan first, and then we start building the outline before it gets into all the interactions and all that, which is, I'm sure, was what Jenny printed. You can have that in an outline form that would allow them to teach it that way. If the iPad with the intranet was not possible.
Mm-hmm.
That's really cool. Now, for those folks, those trustees that are working through all that process and they have these skills, how are y'all connecting them to the employers?
Well, that's the next step. It's so new in that, it's just this summer we started. So we're still new in it. We have talked to some people at Ingham State that said they were going to send us a list of second chance employers, but we're also building that local
list
too.
Yeah.
So we know several employers that will hire second chance employers, and so we're just trying to keep building that network. And it would be nice to be able to. That's the one thing that I always wonder is, what are people doing after they go through our programs? Now, a lot of times you get people that matriculate back into other programs. We have a lot of students that have done heavy equipment. Now they're moving on to CDL. now they're moving on to this, or they come back for something else. We get a lot of repeat customers, so that tells us a lot. But there's still a story to be told about, what people are doing with the skills that they're developing.
Think about how valuable they would be to an employer having those stackable credentials and all of those skills that they've gained. Again, it's also a matter of helping them connect to who's is able to hire them based on their second chance policies as well.
We had a couple people go to Wiregrass Construction. We have an office in our area. I know they're big statewide, but I called the guy, my connection there, and said, hey, I'm going to promote the heck out of this social media. Are you all right with that? He's like, absolutely.
Go for it.
That's that part of that story that needs to be finished, that we need to tell and gather more information on, I think. So,
yeah. So that's when we started, we said, hey, we're doing this for job attainment, but it's impossible to track. Like, even the first job after the course, and much less 6 months or a year later, we can do that. But at some point, we have to turn our eyes towards, and you and I had this conversation. When will we have the conversation about who's getting jobs out of this? And we've been asked, not in an aggressive way or anything that we have to, answer for it now. But like, well, what are we going to do, to make sure folks are actually getting jobs? And so we're counting that, but we're slowly turning that conversation towards who's coming to the labs.
Yeah.
How do we connect, more industries? Had the conversation yesterday with that central group about that, and there's just no easy solution.
There's some tools that we're working on, and again, I mean, with every college, our intent is to really train and help them be employable.
Yeah.
We can't make an individual accept a job or go apply for a job, right? But we can supply them with the tools and the resources to help them make that connection.
Yeah.
But there are some things that the state's working on through some different resources that are available across the state to employers and to our 2-year and 4-year institutions to help their students once they complete a program or gain a credential or a degree. How do we connect their skills with the skills that employers are looking for? So those are definitely some things that we're working on through Alabama Talent Triad, through our Career Connect option inside of the ACCS platform of website, where employers can load their job openings. Also by surveys. I think we were actually pretty successful in having some of our or all of our colleges reach out to a handful of those employers that you've served and get their feedback. Have you been able to upskill? Have you been able to help find the employees that you needed that were in open positions, like that now gain the skills through Skills for Success? And I think that's always going to be true. There's going to be different ways and tools that we do that. I don't know if there's ever going to be one perfect device that does that or process, but I think it's all about helping connect those individuals to those resources. And then we just hope and pray that they take the skills that they've gained and take a job and use them. Yeah.
Right. I agree with you. It's only as good as the input, the information you get. We talk a lot about vertical alignment at LBW. I've talked about that for years, and Dr. Kelly and I both have the same vision. And really, that's the ultimate vertical alignment is where are they at? What jobs do they have? What's their career? And then track that down all the way down to the bottom as an elementary student. That's one of the things I want to do is build everything we do. I want it to have some kind of vertical alignment with other programs at different stages of their life, so that I take the career cruiser with heavy equipment simulators in it to elementary, middle schools and get those kids excited, and then when they get in high school, they get to do the real thing. And then, or when they're an adult, they get to do the real thing. And Alabama DOT has us come over to their office, and they do a heavy equipment roundup, but they also have the cruiser there, so the simulators are there, so people that have never driven equipment can drive it.
Try it out. Yeah.
And they go out and do the real thing. And then they send them to our training. So all their new hires come through our training, and their current employees can come back and retrain so they can do something different. And so that's what vertical alignment looks like, I think. And I think that's pretty important when you start talking about programs.
Absolutely. And one thing we're trying to be more, honed in on is actually showing what those pathways are. Like where can someone start with skills for success, and where could that lead them through other training programs and degree programs available at your college, and what would that next step be on that pathway? So being able to show the students, hey, this was your start in this industry, and here's some other training programs that are available here at our college, and here's how we help you connect to those, because it's not necessarily a handoff. We're all still in it for those students, but we want to help them get those resources that they need to continually be successful.
Right.
And I think that always can be different. Some people want to go directly to work after gaining new skills and earning a credential. Some people want to continue on that learning journey, right? And that pathway of more training and more degrees and more credentials. And that's great, because it's going to help them find that job as well. So us being able to be more transparent of where skills for success can lead you, like what can that lead you to? And that may be different at every college, because every college doesn't have the same exact programs, but our goal is to at least have a trackable program that's a next step for every skills for success course.
I agree 100%.
A great scenario to illustrate that was your work with, it was the city of Opp, and they're the ones that rebuilt that road around the ball field.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about that last time.
Nope.
Because that happened.
That was just
In between.
That was in between. So tell us about that project, because that was one of those things that is I think the gold star of what we want.
Yeah. Well, we have a good relationship with the the administration at Opp High School, and all of our high schools, but they wanted to take it the extra mile. You and I have talked about being able, what's the next step in these trainings, these heavy equipment trainings? Like, is there projects? Is there, 2.0 coming, or something? Because the ones that really love it are asking for that. And so what we decided to do, there was like a, I don't know if I want to call it a road, but it was like a washout.
It's a loose
A
road.
real bad washout leading to a parking lot road that divided a ball field, that kind of thing. And they really wanted to get that fixed. And of course, our instructors, they're excavators. They know, they've lived that life. So, Courtney Blake, the career coach there, the counselor, she put a grant together for a summer project. And so she signed up the students that were really interested. I can't remember how many there were. I want to say there's 8 or 9.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So what they did is we put the whole project together. It was I think it was a 2-week project. It wasn't every day of the week. It was like 3 or 4 days a week or something like that, with multiple pieces of equipment. So we had skid steer there, we had bulldozer, we had roller. And so they basically, took up the topsoil. The county came out and participated with us, gave them the stone that they needed. So the county laid it down and let the kids use the rollers on that. And so they just rebuilt this area to stop the washouts from happening. They cleaned out a little drainage ditch that was full of trees and used the equipment to do that. And it was just a really cool project. I mean, probably the only negative is like 110 degrees out, I think, the whole time.
Hard to control that.
But it was a great project. It looked good when it's done. It had a purpose, and students liked it. And there's a couple students that were going to go apply to the county,
Do you know if they did, if that worked out?
I do not. So I'm going to find that out, though.
But what a great application of working together in your community for actually a use project, right? I mean, this wasn't just, it was doing it to do the steps of learning the operation of those equipment, of those machinery, but let's actually put it to use. Let's apply it now in the real world. And have that partnership with your local city municipality to have a project for those students to be proud of. I mean, they can drive by there and say, hey, I helped build that, There
are a lot of opportunities like that out there in our community. And I mean, you got to kind of be a little bit cautious. You don't want people to think you're a traveling excavation company or traveling construction company. We can do whatever we want. It has to fit our needs first.
Right.
Because if we can't do it, then we're kind of defeating
That's right.
And as a former construction teacher in high school, I had, we did a lot of things for our community back home, but I always made sure that project was something we could do and handle, that it wouldn't, it's not going to go bad on us. Yeah, that's not going to help anybody. So,
no.
Well, maybe that feeds us into now the habitat. I want to hear more about that side. What have y'all been doing with habitat?
Well, We really haven't done a lot as an organization. I'm on the board. I got put on the board there this year, and so I used to build houses, so that was kind of what I used to do when I didn't hurt so bad. So we've helped them out. They're building a house in the community. They got a nice organization that does it every year. Some of the students came out and helped, carry lumber, move lumber when you have the big days when you need a lot of help. And so that was neat to see LBW students out there. And baseball team came out and lifting trusses, throwing trusses up for us. And it was a good couple days. And that's another thing. It's good work.
That's right.
It's
Definitely is.
We met with them by Zoom 3 weeks ago, and the idea was to have the Habitat Humanity project, whatever it was, and the students, the people who are going to live in the house have to have so many
hours
invested, right? And so they wanted to, and I forget how they met us, but I think it was through Matt Heaton, but they wanted to use Skills for Success as a part of the build to train people, because they heard about the carpentry, electrical, flooring, and now plumbing. So they wanted to have that option to train the folks. So not only do they help build their own home, then they also have a new skill.
Yeah.
At the end of it.
That would be good.
And so it's kind of an open enrollment. So we're working through the legal parts of that, what all that looks like. So
everybody needs those skills. Everybody can use those skills, I should say. So that would definitely be something great to do, I think.
So what's next at LBW, Chad? Or what's the next big thing you guys are working on?
So I think what needs to happen is the healthcare. I think being part of a rural community and multiple rural communities, when you have a healthcare facility, I don't think people realize how important that is to that community. If that healthcare facility leaves, that's not good for that community. And so I feel like that's our next big thing, that we need to help provide skills so that people can enter that sector and help make these facilities successful, because there isn't, I think there's HOSA in Crenshaw County, but I think that's it. So there's a lot of opportunity. So I'm looking forward to some of the Skills for Success courses coming out. We've had great success with the mental health worker. We have different sectors taking that training as like professional development.
Okay, tell me more, because I'd hope that would happen.
We've heard that too, like law enforcement, other people who deal with those.
Law enforcement, nurses are taking it. Schools are putting people through it. So that's pretty exciting. That means it's important. That's that feedback you're getting from the community when they want to get involved in something like that.
How did you market the mental health worker to those groups, or did it just happen organically?
No. I don't think anything happens right now. You just gotta be intentional on it.
Yeah.
And I sit down, we talk, we have that conversation, and we go start talking to them.
It was mostly incumbent worker, helping develop those skills that they have.
It's all been incumbent workers so far. But that's important. That's a huge arm of economic development that we don't ever talk about. And that's why I think the next piece with the healthcare, Dr. Kelly's got some cool things in the works for, places to do these trainings, and that's going to be impactful. But that's part of economic development that we really want to focus on, so that when other businesses are looking at our community, our economic development people can say, hey,
here's what we have.
Here's what we have. This is what we have going on.
Right.
Here's the healthcare.
Here's
training.
what's coming.
Here's what's available to you as a business. I think that's really important.
Absolutely. I love that, because I think we did not start out with any health service programs at all with Skills for Success. And literally in the last 10 months, I guess, every course that we have in that industry has now been rolled out, with nursing support technician about to roll out in January. So 5 courses, I believe, is the total we have now available for our health service area. So,
community health worker, mental health worker, ambulance operator, nurse support technician.
And customer service.
Well, I think if people aren't aware of all the opportunities, they're never going to gain skill. The formula that I use is, it's awareness plus exploration equals skill development. And if you don't have those first two, you're just it's dark. You don't know what's going on. And that's when people say, we need more workers in the hospital. We need more nurses. Well, people don't know what is that.
What is that?
Like,
Yeah.
And so we need to create awareness towards that sector and towards that industry so that they can start exploring, start that path and then end up with the skill that going to set them free.
And with some of these now, a few of them are going to be available through our high schools, right? So there's an opportunity to get that exposure at a younger age now, and help those students really explore the health sciences career opportunities even further. And we know even some of our local health organizations use these students. Like they can be employed in these facilities. But there's also, like you said, the awareness of who is that for? How do I get there? What do I need to be able to get a job in that field? And a lot of people think I have to be a nurse or I have to hold this type of license, right? And that's true for certain requirements and certain positions. But it's also true that you also are someone who brings awareness to the community about health and about some of the resources that are available. And that's exactly what community health worker was designed to do, was to support rural communities, spread awareness of different diseases and preventative measures, how we support our community in how do they get to find a physician, or how do they get to find their local health organization that can help treat them. When do they need to seek treatment, things like that. And I mean, that's someone that can learn what that information is to be able to share with someone. They don't have to have a degree or a license as a nurse to be able to share information and to be able to spread awareness of things. So we were excited about community health worker because I think that's been a long overdue need in so many communities to help lead people to seek out more medical treatment when they need it. Sure. But you're right. If the facilities aren't there in our communities, we have to build a workforce to support those.
I agree. So we got to have those skills. That's part of that vertical alignment, where are they going to work and at what age do you introduce this?
Exactly.
I'm excited to see what you do with the NST once we get it built and ready in the high schools for those seniors.
It's going to blow up. I know it will. Yeah, in a good way. Like it's going to.
There's such a
I'm guilty of trying to do things too early. Like I'm always pushing the envelope on Houston.
Love that.
Hey, I want to. I'm not asking for the pilot money or nothing. Just let me. I just want to do it.
Yeah.
Well, I just need to wait and let it get hashed out, and that's me with my, pedal to the metal all the time. But I'm excited about it.
I love that. You are proactive, Chad. You are not a reactive. I mean, like you all are always looking out on the horizon. What can I do? What's next? How do I share this with my community? Because you know that there's a fit there somewhere, right? So we love that. And we love those individuals who can see that. I mean, you've got that foresight to see, I know what a benefit this can be.
Yeah, it's important. It's good work. It really is. And people need to have it. They want it.
Did you know that forklift pilots Thursday and Friday?
I knew it was coming up. I didn't know. I know.
It should be ready by February.
Yeah.
Ish.
Did you know machine operator was happening now?
Like right now?
Like today?
Nope, I did not know that.
Machining operator.
Yeah, we just get corrected yesterday.
So the layman's term is machinist helper, but we don't call them helpers.
Yeah.
That's a bad word. We're taking that out of our vocabulary.
Good idea.
Machining operator, and then plumbing was last week. Good. But yeah, I like cooking. Nursery landscape worker.
Yeah.
That finishes this Friday.
Yeah.
Cool.
So we got some new stuff. I want to see what you do with it.
I'm ready.
We know you are. We appreciate everything that you do in your community. Your college is definitely making a difference. I think one thing that we notice, and I think everyone notices across the state, you are a smaller college, right? Like, even though your service area is smaller, you are doing a lot in those communities that is making a big impact, not only for the businesses and industries that are there, but for the residents that live in those communities and having the opportunity to take these courses and gain those skills. So thank you for what you do. Thank you for Dr. Kelly and his support always on these training programs.
He's always supportive. He
Yes.
turns me loose.
Y'all are a great team, and we thank you very much for everything you do. You make our jobs easier because you see that vision and know the purpose behind everything. And I love how you align everything you do with your mission statement. I think that's something anyone can look at and say, am I really doing what I set forth to do?
Yeah. Keeps you focused.
It does. It does. So from our team to yours, thank you for everything.
Thank you. Thank you for being an awesome resource. That's for sure. We appreciate it.
It's a good partnership.
That's right. All right. Well, we are out of time on Innovation Unplugged. I want to thank everybody for listening in today. Again, if you haven't heard Chad's original episode, go back in the archives and look for it. But we appreciate Chad Sutton and his foresight and expertise today and sharing all the information that LBW is doing down in South Alabama. So if you haven't had a chance, please like, subscribe, and share Innovation Unplugged on all podcast platforms. We'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.